Hello and welcome to the lesson. The subject is meetings. Today we continue with the topic board and committee meetings. In our last session, we covered the meaning, membership, and functions of the board. Today we move to the powers of the board. And in studying the powers of the board, we are going to look at four things. Number one is the source of board powers. Number two, we are going to study the general management powers. Number three is the specific statutory powers. Then we will study the power to delegate. Power to delegate. Those are four things. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain number one, the source of board powers. Number two, the general management powers. Number three, specific statutory powers. Then number four, the power to delegate. 4 areas. And candidates in corporate governance, the board of directors is the primary decision-making body of a company. It is the primary decision-making body of a company. And while the shareholders own the company, the board, on the other hand, is entrusted with the power to direct and regulate its business. It is the board that directs and regulates the business. And under the Companies Act and under the modern governance standards, the powers of the board are both extensive, but at the same time, they are strictly regulated. The board does not have absolute powers. No, their powers are strictly regulated. So let's start by studying the source of board powers. What is the source of board powers? Number one, source of board powers. Where does the board of directors derive its power? Where does the board derive its power? Now, the authority of a board does not come from the directors themselves, but from two primary legal sources. Number one is the Companies Act. The Companies Act. That is the first source of board powers. The Companies Act, which provides the statutory framework and codifies directors' duties. Another source of board powers is the Articles of Association. Articles of Association. This is the constitution of a company. It is the company's constitution, and it typically explains or contains a clause stating that the business of the company shall be managed by the directors who may exercise power of the company, who may exercise all the powers of the company. So that is a clause that you'll find in most articles of association, that the business of the company shall be managed by the directors who may exercise all the powers of the company. So these are two primary sources of board powers. Now let's proceed now to study the general management powers. What are the general management powers? Because as I said, we also have the specific statutory powers. But let's first of all understand the general management powers. The general management powers. Now the board has what we call the supreme executive authority to handle the day-to-day and the strategic operations, including setting strategy. The board has the power to set strategy. Setting strategy. That means defining the company's vision, defining the company's mission, and defining the company's long-term objectives. That's what we mean by setting strategy. That is the first general management power, setting strategy. Then there is financial oversight. Financial oversight. That is another power. Financial oversight is carried out by approving budgets, managing capital expenditure, ensuring the integrity of the financial reporting, and so on. That's what we are referring to as financial oversight. 3, we have what we call risk management. Risk management, managing risk. That is to mean establishing systems to identify and also to mitigate the legal, the financial, and operational risks. That is the power, the role, the responsibility of the board. Risk management. General management power also include contracts. The board has what we call contractual power. Contractual power. That means entering into binding agreements, leases, and also partnerships on behalf of the company. Entering into arrangements like leases, like partnerships, that is not the work of the chief executive officer or the clerk of the company. No, it is the board that has the power to bind the company to enter into lease agreements, partnerships, and that is done on behalf of the company. So these are general management powers. How about the specific statutory powers? Specific statutory powers. The board also has specific statutory powers. Specific statutory powers. Now, certain powers are explicitly granted to the directors to ensure the company functions effectively. Such powers include allotment of shares. 1. Allotment of shares. Allotment of shares. This is the power to issue new shares subject to shareholder authorization and subject to what we call preemption rights. So the board has the power to issue new shares, but that issuing of new shares is subject to the shareholder approval or authorization. 2, borrowing powers. Now, the authority to raise loans, the authority to issue debentures, and also to pledge company assets as a security is also one of the statutory powers of the board. Borrowing powers. 3, appointment of the company's officers. Now, in local entities, the company's officers comprise the directors and also the company secretary. The board has the power to appoint the CEO, the senior management, and the corporate secretary. Those are the officers of the company as per the Companies Act. That is number 3. Number 4, calling meetings. The board has the power to call meetings. This is the authority to convene AGMs, to convene extraordinary meetings, and special general meetings. That is the power of the board. That is a statutory power. The law gives these directors the power to call such meetings. 5, dividend recommendation. Dividend recommendation. Now, while shareholders approve the dividend, only the board has the power to recommend the amount that the shareholders are to be paid. That is the power of the board to recommend dividends that are paid to the shareholders. So these are 6 specific statutory powers. Now, lastly, let us discuss the power to delegate. Number 4, power to delegate. Power to delegate. Now, a board cannot do everything itself, and under governance standard number 001, the board has the power to delegate its authority to board committees. The board on its own cannot do everything. So the board has the power to delegate its powers to board committees, like specialized groups, like the audit committee, the risk committee, the human resource committee, the remuneration committee. Those are examples of committees of the board. The board can also delegate its power to the CEO or the managing director. Now, delegation of day-to-day operational decisions, right, is what we are referring to as delegating power to the CEO. The CEO can act on behalf of the board, because we know that it is the board of directors that are to ensure that the day-to-day operations of the company are carried out effectively, and therefore that can only be made possible by the board appointing a CEO or a managing director. So the board can delegate its power to the CEO or to the MD. There is also individual directors. Apart from delegating power to the committee or CEO, the board can delegate its powers to individual directors. Specific tasks or projects can be delegated to specific individual directors. Understand? Yes. But we need to understand that even when delegating, the board remains the ultimate accountable. It remains ultimately accountable for the actions that are taken by these delegatees. So that is all, candidates, for today's lesson on the powers of the board. The powers of the board. Before studying the powers of the board, we had to understand the source. The powers of the board. The board does not give itself power. No. The authority of the board does not come from the directors themselves, but from two primary legal sources, that is the Companies Act and the Articles of Association. And these are the four general management powers. Number one is to set strategy, to do financial oversight, risk management, and contractual powers. Then you have specific statutory powers. These are powers that are granted to the directors from statute, specifically the Companies Act. One such power is to allot shares, borrowing powers, appointment of officers, calling meetings, and recommending dividends. Then lastly, we've said the board has the power to delegate to board committees, the MD, and individual directors. That's the end of today's lesson on the powers of the board. Bye-bye.